My plan originally was to start a two-parter today that was going to be about gratitude. So I thought the week before the week before is Christmas-ish, the week before Thanksgiving and the week after, talk about gratitude, being grateful. But I just could not let go of this It Is Well series. It has been well for my soul to talk about. How many of you guys have enjoyed the It Is Well conversation? I think it's been very beneficial for me and some other folks I've been talking to. So I thought we maybe, let's do a little mashup, shall we? We're going to talk about the health and well-being of our souls, and at the same time, through God's miraculous grace, we're going to also talk about being grateful today. So I think it should be interesting. Let's go to Colossians chapter 3. We're going to read one verse here, and then we're going to talk about this today. And this kind of incorporates both these ideas. And so Colossians 3, verse 15, the Apostle Paul says this: "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." That word hearts is soul, just in case you're wondering. So let the peace of Christ rule in your souls, to which indeed you were called in one body, and be thankful. The word rule there, so let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts and your souls, is a Greek word, brabuo, which is fun to say. That was, if Berkeley was going to be a boy, her name was going to be Brabuo. That's not true. But that word means to direct, to guide. Allow your soul to be directed by or guided by the peace of Christ. And then it goes on to say, we are part of his body. We're joined to him together. We are joined together to him, and then because of all that, be thankful. Something that has come up multiple times in my life, a glaring issue that I have, and I grew up in church where the only things that preachers typically talk about as far as themselves is what they're doing well, and what you should copy, and what you should aspire to do. I've found that is not what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to tell you what I'm doing horribly, and what I stink at, and what you should never copy. And so I want to be your example of what not to do, and I'm happy to be that for you. And so something that's come up a lot lately, as recently as last Tuesday, this was an issue. I will be presented by a problem, often a technical one, something having to do with my email, something having to do with my computer, or some form of technology. And instead of just stopping and saying, there's a problem here, I should call someone who knows about this thing to fix it. I don't do that because I insist upon first doing it myself. I can do it. I haven't grown up since I was 4 years old. I can do it. Stop. I can do it. So I insist upon, and then what happens inevitably every single time, I make the problem 105,000 times worse. And it's now my phone has got smoke coming out of it. Now my computer is underwater. It is just a mess. And then I finally am shoved into a place where I have to call someone who actually knows what they're doing and ask for help. I am admittingly a very independent, do-it-yourself control freak. I can use that word advisedly. I am, in fact, if there's such a thing as a control freak, you're looking at them. And when Paul encourages us to allow the peace of Christ to rule and direct our souls, to take charge and lead our souls, that sounds beautiful. It sounds gorgeous. But practically, that is not easy for me. It's not easy for me to relinquish the wheel in order for Jesus to take it, if you know what I'm saying, Carrie Underwood. 1995, speaking of singers, in 1995, an artist named Jewel, who is great, and my daughter's middle name is Jewel. You see how much of a big fan we are of Jewel. That's not why we named her that, but whatever. So I loved Jewel. In 1995, she sang a song, "Who Will Save Your Souls If You Won't Save Your Own?" That pretty much, Jewel pretty much sums up my theology there. And I'm talking about my honest theology. I'm not talking about the theology I preach to you guys. I'm talking about the theology I actually believe. And so I know I preach to you something completely different, but down deep, there's this other warring theology that is always is always coming up in my heart and my life, and that is, I got it. I'm an independent agent, and I don't want to be. It's not right to be, but that's just what happens. That's the war on the inside of me. That's the Bible talks about. There's a battle going on the inside of me. There's a warring faction on the internal Chris, and that is what the fight is over. Control. Really, that's the fall in the garden, was man trying to be his own God, fighting over control. I got it. I can do it. Last week we read the beautiful hymn, "It Is Well With My Soul," and we talked about it. Around that same time period in the late 1800s, when Mr. Spafford was writing "It Is Well With My Soul," a poem was being written in another location, in fact, in England. And it was being written by a man called William Ernest Henley. And the poem is one of the more famous ones. In fact, there's a movie named after it. It's called Invictus. You guys familiar with Invictus? If you're not, that's okay. I'm going to read it to you. But Invictus is, like I said, William Ernest Henley. He wrote this in the late 1800s. And I wanted to share it with you today. This is, he's writing this from a hospital bed, in fact. But this is what he says. "Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but it's unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears, but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." That word Invictus is a Latin phrase. It means unconquerable. My unconquerable soul. This has become an anthem of do-it-yourselfers, independent agents like me, everywhere, and I'm the captain of my soul. I'm in charge of this thing. I'm driving. This comes down to me. In other words, it's not the peace of Christ that rules my soul. It's me that rules. I'm the captain. I am the captain now. This is an anthem that probably resonates with all of us. There's only one driver in this situation, and I'd rather it be me than anybody else. I like to drive. I like to be in control. There's a beautiful thought and phrase. Jesus himself says it, "Not my will, yours be done." But this poem speaks to my secret will, my secret desire, my will be done. Jesus, I've got a script that I've written painstakingly. It is brilliant. It is beautiful. I know me. I live with me. I know what I want. I know what I need. Jesus, if you could just accommodate and stick to the script, please. And there's moments where you're like, Jesus, you're going off script. There's no improv, Jesus. You need to stick with the script. In fact, that's how we define if things are going well or things are going poorly. We base it on our will. The will is part of the soul. It's the mind, it's the will, it's the emotions. We talked quite a bit about the mind and the emotions last week. This is a conversation about our will. I want what I want, and that's how I define success and meaning and purpose in my life. Mr. Henley, who wrote this in a hospital bed, he had tuberculosis of the bone. He had both legs amputated. He was an avowed atheist. He was planting his flag with this poem in the only place that he found strength in himself. In fact, his statement is, whatever gods be for my unconquerable soul, if there is a God, he gave me everything I need, and I don't need them anymore. Unfortunately, when you plant that flag within yourself, when the core of your strength and resolve comes from self, there's no peace there. There's no comfort there. What does exist there is fear, is pride, is constant comparison. We play fair, the game of that's not fair all the time. Well, that's not fair. That person has, I don't have, it's not fair. They don't have, they have, that's not fair. There's always comparison. There's always this competition that kind of exists on the inside of us. If things go well with this kind of mentality, I'm the captain of my soul, if things go well, then all glory be to me. Look what I've done. Look at the life I've made for myself. You should be envious of me. If things are not going well, it's probably somebody else's fault, because if it would go my way, everything would be perfect. Have you ever given advice to somebody and they didn't take it? And your opinion of them drops significantly, doesn't it? You're like, this idiot. I told you what to do. And then there's always that little glimmer of hope. You want it to fail. You want everything to fall apart so you can say those famous words, told you so. If you just listen to me. It's pride. And that all comes from me being in the center, me being the captain. There's no peace, there's no comfort there. There's only pride, there's only comparison. The things that we don't want are the things that exist in that place. As the captain of my soul, this is what that looks like. And I'm not terribly nautical. I have been on boats. I know what a captain, I know the hat that they wear. I know the captain hat. And I know their job. They captain, they're in charge of directing and guiding this vessel. If you're the captain of the soul, you're always on the lookout. You're always looking out. You're always looking forward. You're probably always a little anxious and a little suspicious. What's that? What's that? What's that? Is that an iceberg? Sir, we're in Jamaica. That's not an iceberg. What is that coming? You're always looking out. You're always overtly cautious. You're always, if you're the captain of a cruise line, yeah, maybe you'll wander off and kind of visit with folks, but your main objective is not laying by the pool eating the buffet. Your main job is looking forward. We're going here. This is where we're going. Salvation isn't just receiving forgiveness. It's not just receiving redemption for our sins, though that is certainly a big part of it. Salvation is also something that, all that's something only Christ can do for us. We can't do for ourselves. But something else that he does for us that we can't do for ourselves is we cannot, without Jesus, experience a spiritual realignment in our souls. And that's part of what Christ does as he awakens us spiritually, as we are saved by grace and through faith. We are realigned spiritually. This Colossians 3 mentions it. You are called to one body. I had an incident several years ago. This is before I moved back to Chattanooga. A friend of mine, we were doing a funny video where he was going to hit me with a metal chair in the head. And I was like, I'm pretty dense. I said, hit me in the forehead. It's not going to be a big deal. I said, the one thing I need you not to do, hit me on the top of the head so I compact like a box turtle. Guess where he hit me? Square on the squishy part of my dome, right on top of my head. And after a few days, a week or two, I was like, oh, I'm having some issues. My spine had been, as my chiropractor said, compacted. And so I went to a chiropractor. I didn't have one, so I went to a friend's chiropractor. He was great. And he did an orientation. He said, to come here, you got to go through this orientation. And so he had the little kind of model of your spine with all the organs attached to it. And he wanted to show me that the spine as a baby, that's what's formed first, and then everything else is formed off of it. So he said, if you don't think your spine is important, you're wrong. And so he's showing us this is the central nervous system. This is where everything stems from. Your spine is very, very important. Well, as we are joined to the body of Christ, it's no longer independent agents. The baby toe doesn't have its own agenda. It's part of the full body, and Jesus is the head, and we're all connected. We're all part of this body. We're interconnected, interdependent with each other. And so salvation is when we come into alignment. We are no longer sticks on the ground. We abide in the vine. We're grafted in. So my life doesn't just affect me. My life also affects you. And it should. Jesus, his love and grace doesn't just affect me, it affects everyone I come in contact with. We're interconnected, we're interdependent. So salvation is bringing us into alignment with Jesus, spiritually into alignment with Jesus. Paul puts it this way in Galatians, which is a famous verse that we all know. I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. The life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself up for me. It's no longer I who live, it's Christ who lives in me. That should be that phrase should be on repeat in our hearts, in our lives. It's no longer I who live, it's Christ who lives in me. This is not about me, this is about Jesus. I'm not the big picture here, he is. Now I get to be part of it because he loves me and he brings me in, but I'm not the point. Martin Luther, the great reformist, said this of sin. He said that the sin underneath all sins is the lie that we cannot trust the love and the grace of Jesus and that we must therefore take matters into our own hands. We can't trust the alignment. We can't trust that Jesus has it. We can't trust that his grace is sufficient. We can't trust that he's actually working all things out for my good. We can't trust that he knows what he's doing and he's got the big picture in mind and he's on top of it. We can't trust that, so we become autonomous. We pull away, we disconnect, and we become independent agents. I'm the captain of my soul. That doesn't happen usually instantaneously. It's a slow and steady drift. Maybe along the way, we became disenfranchised with organized religion. I've talked to people who said, Chris, I come to your church, but I'm not really big into organized religion. And my response is always, well, good, because our church is neither religious nor is it organized. It's perfect for you. Man's attempt to be his own God is what Martin Luther is alluding to, the original fall. The fall in the garden, and the sin that has been committed every day since. All sin comes back to one thing. I'm trying to save myself. You're like, well, how does that work with people doing naughty, licentious things? Well, some people try to save themselves and give their life meaning and purpose by breaking the rules. But also, a lot of people try to save themselves and make their life more meaningful by keeping all the rules. So whether you're living to break the rules to make your life meaningful or living to keep the rules to make your life meaningful, you're still the captain of your own soul. That's the problem that we see highlighted in the prodigal son story. Both sons were the captain of their own soul. And where do we find peace? Where do we find gratitude? Only in the arms of the Father. That's it. Several years later, after the poem Invictus was written, a woman who came to know Jesus wrote a response to Invictus. Her name is Dorothy Day, and she called this, instead of calling it Invictus, which means unconquerable, she called her poem Conquered. And I think this is a way better poem, personally. This is how it goes. Out of the light that dazzles me, bright as the sun from pole to pole, I thank the God I know to be for Christ the conqueror of my soul. Since the sway of circumstance, I would not wince nor cry aloud. Under that rule which men call chance, my head with joy is humbly bowed. Beyond this place of sin tears, that life with him, and his the aid that spite the menace of the years shall keep me unafraid. I have no fear, though strait the gate, he cleared from punishment the scroll. Christ is the master of my fate. Christ is the captain of my soul. There you go. That's way better. My heart and my soul are going to be ruled by something. There's something that is going to direct and guide my soul, my heart, my will, my mind, my emotions. There's something that is going to captain that. More often than not in this world, it is self. A lot of times we subcontract that out and we say, hey, political party that I'm a part of, tell me what to do and what to think and what to feel. I just stepped on toes right there. I don't trust anyone 100% of the time, much less a political party that's bent on power and control. So if we just blindly trust some political figures, like what they say is gospel, we've handed over the wheel, and it's probably time to rethink it. Is that okay? I love you. I'm being honest. There's a lot of times we subcontract the captain of that position of captain of our soul to someone that we're in love with. And whether we feel up or we feel down is riding on them. When I married Sonia, it's the best decision I ever made. And what really drew me to her as I got to know her was the fact that she didn't need me. And I'd been in needy relationships prior to that. And it's unadvisable. But to meet someone that Jesus was the captain of her soul, and she had Jesus, she didn't need me to be Jesus. Winner, winner. I was the winner. She She lost, but I won. I'm kidding. Asking a significant other to be what only Jesus can be for you is not fair. And it's a recipe for heartache and problems and disappointment. Rocky roads are ahead. Jesus is the captain of our soul. There's only one option there. Every other alternative it doesn't lead to good conclusions. It leads to very choppy waters and often capsized hearts. My heart, my soul, is created to be directed by, ruled by the peace of Christ. The peace of Christ. And that's going to take us back to our original scripture as we wrap up. That is the place where we're able to be thankful, to live grateful. In fact, I think it's a prerequisite. If the peace of Christ rules our heart, gratitude seems to be the fruit of that. But when we're in control, we're always on the lookout. We can't sleep, we can't rest, we can't be still, we can't be thankful because it's never enough. When we're at the wheel trying to make it happen for ourselves, this is what we tend to do. We look past the immediate. We look past who we're with. We look past where we are. We're always looking beyond it. I go to when I go out to eat with my wife, my daughter. It is pretty common to see couples sitting in a restaurant together, both on their phones. The part of my head that was hit by the chair pointed at each other. Like, here's the top of my head. And I don't want to judge, but I will. I don't want to judge, but I have to. I think that move is to say, anything is better than you. There might be a little conviction coming in this. I would rather talk to somebody else. In fact, I'd probably rather be somewhere else. Anything and everything is more interesting. I'm watching a dog play a piano right now. I can't be bothered. That's sort of what we do on a grander scale. We're always looking at what's next, beyond, past. God's dropped us into this community. And maybe it's your first time here. God bless you. Thanks for coming. But if you've been here for a while and you're like, this is my family, this is my home. God's brought us together. And at first, the way that goes is, this is great. That guy can preach. It's my birthday. Come on, give me something. Thank you. I'm talking about when AJ preaches. Anyway, so you might be thinking, man, that girl can sing. Girls, multiple. Man, that guy on the keys. Not too shabby. It's like Billy Joel, but he fights fires. There's a lot to this place. It's great. And if nothing else, we have Larry. Name another church in the world that has Larry. You can't. But like anything, after a while, you're like, Chris didn't say hi to me today. That coffee was a little strong. I think Rick made it, not Sonia. There might be things that's like, okay, this place isn't perfect. And then we start looking past the beauty that is to over there. That happens a lot with a lot of different, I'm just using church as an example. We do that with our jobs, we do that with our friends, we do that with everything. We're always shopping. It's an old adage, just because you've ordered doesn't mean you got to stop looking at the menu. So we just put the menu down and sit and enjoy the moment. To just be grateful. It was my birthday yesterday, and it's impossible for me to hit a birthday and not do some inventory. And do a little, you know, I live nostalgic anyway, but I to have an extra rush of nostalgia and thinking back, and man, I feel so flippin' blessed. I'm absolutely over the moon blessed. I'm just grateful, very, very grateful. But I haven't always been. There's been a lot of moments where I was looking right past what was, what is, to what could be, what should be, what will be. Gratitude is something you do in the moment. It's not, hey, when I get there, I'll be grateful. It doesn't, you never get there. Gratitude is present. It's now. Quick story. Before I moved back, this is my hometown. I moved away for a little layover, just a brief 23 years, and then I moved back. And we've been back for, 13 years now. Before I did, I was on staff at a church, and I asked, okay, it's time to move on, and my wife and I want to start a church. And so I'm thinking a couple months notice, and it turned out to be, okay, put in a year's notice. And I was like, okay, this will be fun. So my soul, we outstayed our welcome, and it was pretty brutal. And my soul was getting bashed against the rocks pretty good. In fact, some of the worst depression I've ever faced was during the course of that time. And I was so fixated on looking past and what will be, what could be, what should be. Then, there was hundreds of people around me. And at some point, Jesus lovingly stepped in to the cabin. Where's the captain have his thing? The bridge on Star Trek. So they come in. Captain's log. And so they come in and they're like, okay, this is Jesus. Jesus comes in, he says, hey buddy, why don't you just take a breather? Let me do this. And he gently took the wheel back. And in that process, my wife and I, something was awakening on the inside of us. We're like, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Now, Sonia and I were with each other, so don't think weird things. We were together. But we wanted to be here with you. We didn't know you yet, but this is where we wanted to be. But we couldn't be here yet. You weren't here yet. We decided collectively to love the one we're with. So even though we felt a little stuck, we just began to love on the people there, like more than we ever did. And it was beautiful what God did. I never thought it'd be possible, but I missed people when I left. There was something that happened on the inside of us that was necessary for this leg of the journey that created something different in me, walking through the tough stuff and Jesus driving me through it. The peace of Christ ruling my heart through it created something new in me that wasn't going to show up otherwise. I needed it. Poo-poo makes things grow. I'm no farmer, but I know that. Gratitude isn't a result of circumstances as much as it's a result of trusting the one who's ordered your steps, who is in control. We can fight it, but it's like fighting gravity. He is in control. We can run the opposite direction, but he's in control. He'll chase you. Read the story of Jonah. He'll throw a fish at you and eat you whole. He'll, whatever it takes. I'm going to find you. I'm going to get you one way or another. That's an old hymn that I like to sing. Jesus loves you too much to not chase you, to not hound you. He is persistent because he's crazy about you. And what he wants is not some sort of fight over control. He wants you to be ruled and directed by the gift that is shalom. Wholeness, wellness, peace, joy, hope, strength, resolve. See, peace is a simplistic word. Shalom is not. It's complicated. It's loaded. If you get sent a big file and they zip it for you, you have to unzip it when you get it on the other, any tech geniuses here? You have to compact a file and then they extract the file. Shalom's like that. It's something you can extract and it's multi-layered and multifaceted. It's beautiful. That's what's being offered here. Let that direct, guide, and drive your soul. I want to close this series with this thought, and then we'll pray. We're subject to everything that we experience. Just like anything, you are what you eat. You feed your soul. You exercise your soul. You are careful what your soul takes in, views, sees, hears. You should be careful how you share your soul, who you share your soul with. My encouragement is this: take care of your soul. We got one. Take care of your soul because your soul is eternal. And it really defines you. It's who you are. I think it's easy to let this world affect us from the outside in, but as John says late in his days, in 2 John, he says that I pray that you experience abundance on the outside as you experience that abundance and goodness on the inside. That you prosper on the outside as you prosper in your soul. It's inside out. So my encouragement is this: let Jesus take the wheel. Let Jesus be the captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Let Jesus be that. It does a couple things. It ushers in all the beauty that we crave, the peace, the joy, the hope, all the things that we look everywhere for but can't find. That's where it comes from. He's our source. Everything's from, through, and to him. Let Jesus be that. But also, what it does is it makes life so much lighter. The responsibility, the weight, the burden's not on you to make a miraculous life that you're meant to live. It is really, he's ordered our steps. He's already pre-made opportunities for you to step in and walk in. He set it all up. All he asks us to do is to trust him to lead the way. So may the peace of Christ rule in our hearts and our lives. May we continue to be one body together, and may we rise up, be filled up with thanksgiving. Let's pray. If you're here and